All right, all right, all right.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello,
Oh, wait.
everybody.
Yeah.
We were really worried that you guys would not do that, so thank you very much for
Thank
saying
you for
I.O.
responding. Yes. We'll be your MCs for the evening. My name is Camila Cardenas.
And my name is Sean Kling.
We're going to be starting in a little bit. We figured we'd entertain you guys for a little bit. Yeah.
So first we'll start by telling you a little bit about ourselves. And do you want to go ahead?
Yeah. I'm in the Business Scholars program. Where are you guys at? Hey! I saw you guys earlier. Woo! So I'm a third year. I'm a double major in marketing and logistics. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. Anybody? Yeah! All right. Yeah. Sean, do you want to introduce yourself?
And I am also from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Woo!
And then I am in the Politics, Society, and Law Scholars, who are my PSL people. Thank you.
All right. Well, I want to get to know a little bit about you guys. Let's see. Who has traveled the farthest? Where are you from? Alaska? Who can beat Alaska? What about you? China? Who can beat China?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
Anyone further? Tibet, maybe.
Tibet? No.
No.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, no more hands. Definitely China's our winner. We got a couple more people rolling in.
So if you guys...
Can you say that again? I think they either said your name or... Oh, South Africa!
Wow.
Yeah, I went to Africa this summer. It was very cool. Woo!
Are there any other countries we are missing? Do any international students
any
want
cool
to out
countries? List
themselves?
them out. Or I guess states. Kenya?
Kenya.
Did I hear that? Ohio, baby, yeah.
Raise your hand if you are from out of state.
Out of state. Florida? I'm going to start picking on people. Where are you from? Wait. Texas? Illinois. I'm going to go, okay, you in the brown shirt right there.
What?
Indiana.
Okay, well, thank you very much for having us, everyone. We are going to come out in just a few minutes.
We'll be back. Don't worry.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, hello. We're back. Thank you. All right. Welcome to the 6th annual Honors and Scholars launch, my fellow Honors and Scholars Buckeyes.
And welcome to the Ohio State University.
Yes. Before we get started, make sure you guys have on your intent bracelets. You're going to need them. So make sure you guys take them out and put them on.
Those cool little bracelets that you guys just got.
Yeah, while you put them on, thank you for joining us today. It's amazing to see 2,500 students pack the Mershon Auditorium.
Take a look around you. Hopefully you've seen some familiar faces. Maybe you've met some new friends. Now, this is the last time that the entire Honors and Scholars class of 2022 will be in one room together.
Yeah, so believe it or not, Sean and I were sitting where you are now, and I remember I was sitting right up there, and I just come from Business Scholars Welcome Day activities, and I was sitting next to 60 fresh faces, and I was pretty anxious. I didn't know anybody, and little did I know those faces would turn into friends that would help me in and outside of the classroom, and now 4 of them are actually my junior year roommates.
And I remember sitting right over there in the aisle seat where you in the gray t-shirt are sitting. You know who I'm talking to? Yep, you, exactly. And I remember plopping down in my seat and thinking, oh, thank God I get to sit down. Because I know that you guys are just mentally and physically exhausted at this point. Moving in, you're meeting 100 million new people. You are running all around campus. If you're in PSL, you just ran all around the city of Columbus. and you're just exhausted and ready to go to your room and watch the new episode of Orange is the New Black. Trust me,
True.
I get it. But I also remember that this weekend was a lot of fun for me. I met two of my really good friends that I still have to this day at the event right after this. So if you ever feel like you're getting stressed out or you're worried you're not going to make new friends, just relax, because it's going to happen. Yeah. But enough of us reminiscing. So we have a really great event planned for you guys today. We have a bunch of awesome speakers, special OSU guests, and inspiring stories that'll help you launch into your next 4 years at Ohio State.
Yep. But when you leave here today, you are all going to the Involvement Fair on College Avenue. You guys will get a lot of free t-shirts. But remember, no matter where you go from here, you'll always be an Honors and Scholars Buckeye.
Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce the Associate Vice Provost of Undergraduate Education, the Director of the Honors and Scholars Center, Professor of Physics, and Farmer Extraordinaire, Dr. Lynn Vanwoerkom.
Thanks. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Camilla.
Of course.
Oh, well, welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Kind of a busy couple of days, huh? Think about where you were sort of 24 or 48 hours ago. Think about a week ago, right? You had your own room for most of you, right? And many of you had your own bathroom, right? And it's going to be a little bit different for the next little while, right? So we're glad that everyone is here and made it here on behalf of the Honors and Scholars staff. Really thankful that you're a part of this. We're excited. And we're excited to talk a lot about launching you, both literally from this kind of an event, but also in terms of your educational experience. Right? Man, you are starting out on an amazing journey. Right? This is absolutely amazing. Some of you, how many of you know what you want to do? Let me see some hands. Okay. How many of you have no idea what you want to do? All right. It's good to be honest about those things. And the rest of you are kind of in the middle saying, I don't know, maybe a little bit here, a little bit there. Do I want to go to med school? Do I want to be an engineer? Do I want to be a poet? Do I want to be a philosopher? All right? Well, you're going to start figuring these things out, right? And this is an incredible time. Your college career is an opportunity for you to try new things, talk to new people, experience things. Take a chance. Take a chance on classes. Take a chance on meeting new people. Right? Take a chance on all of these things, because if you don't seize these opportunities, right, man, you won't know what they are. Sometimes, really bright students like yourselves, honors and scholars students, you can tend to get blinders on. You really kind of think you're just going to go down this path. Boy, if you open up a little bit and just look at the things around you, you'll find amazing opportunities. So many of you that know exactly what you want to do at this moment, let's chat again in about 3 months, and we'll see. There'll be a bunch of you that have completely switched around what you're thinking about. Some of you who have no idea what you're doing, you're going to take a class, you're going to meet a professor, and the light bulbs are going to go off. And a whole new area, something you never thought about, is going to become your passion. Right? So seize these opportunities. We're going to talk about how we serve as resources, how we can go together on this journey in your college career through Honors and Scholars to help take you there. And part of that conversation is going to revolve around these bracelets that you've all got. And so what I'd like to do now is introduce you to Chris Pan, who was an honors student back here in the mid-90s, and he's been back on campus, and he's going to come and talk to you a little bit about things. Chris, come on out.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Y'all got your bracelets? Okay. Let's see. Here we are. You guys ready? All right. It's time. I'm going to teach you guys something. So you guys, we're going to cover an hour's worth of material in 20 minutes, okay? But you guys are honor students, so I think we can do this. But you got to be paying very close attention. So you're going to stand up right now. I'm going to show you something. This is called the launch sequence. Okay, stand up quickly, all right? So what you're going to do is you're going to do a stomp. So that's called get grounded in your truth. You can stomp, right? Everyone's stomping. Okay. Slap off what's not true. Okay. And then you're going to put the energy in your heart, like that. Okay? Let's cue some music. You guys ready?
You meant when you said that you were spent, and now it's time to build build from the bottom
That's right,
of
switch
the
your
pit
legs.
right to the top. Don't
There you
look
go.
back. Packing my
Now look
bags
around.
and giving the academy
These are the
a
people that are going to be
rain
with you
check.
for the next 4 years or 5.
I don't ever wanna let you down. I don't ever wanna leave this town.
You guys are great.
'Cause after all, the
All right, now you're gonna follow me, all right?
tonight, it's time to
So wake yourselves up a little bit.
I get a little bit bigger, but then I'll admit I'm just the same as I was. Oh, don't you understand? I'm never changing who I am.
Give yourselves a big hand. All right, now quickly be seated. We're going to switch gears. You guys are amazing. So what I'm going to invite you to do is put both feet on the ground, put your butt in the seat, and gently close your eyes. I'll put some music on for you to take you on this journey. All right, now we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose together. Hold it. 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the mouth. All right, one more time. In through the nose. Hold it. 3, 2, 1. Big exhale. All right. One last time. In through the nose. Hold it. Now let it out with a big smile. Now, the next time you get a little anxious or you're not feeling so good, try moving or taking a few deep breaths, right? I just gave you 2 tools to help you navigate the next 4 years and the rest of your life. Now, I'm going to invite you just to take a quick moment and just think about the word that you chose when you submitted your word and why you chose that. If you want to just take a look, because it'll be there for you until you don't need it anymore, and then it's ready for the next one. Now I'm going to share a few ABCs that are going to be helpful for you over the coming years. There's 5 of them. And it's always be something. And it's always be because these are habits. They're not something you do once or twice. They're something that you do repeatedly and it becomes part of who you are because that's what's ultimately going to matter. It's not like you did it once and you're like, oh, that was it, right? You go to the gym once. No, this is something you do continuously. So number 1, always be curious. When I was a sophomore, I was the president of my floor. Who's from Taylor? Anybody? All right, 2nd floor. And I saw this conference for RAC, Residence Hall Advisory Council. I didn't know what it was. I already had tickets to go see you too, but I was curious. I was like, well, maybe there's something interesting. It talked about student leadership and whatnot, so I took a chance on it. I sold my U2 tickets and went there. Long drive, got there. I was tired. The auditorium was dark. There was a man on the stage. His name was Mark Victor Hansen, co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. I don't know how long he spoke for, but I've never heard anything like it, and it blew my mind. And afterwards, I said, you know what? I want to do what he does. I want to become a speaker too. And so that summer, I went back to my 7th grade geography teacher and said, hey, can I practice on your kids? And he said, sure. So that was the beginning of my speaking career because I was curious and went to this RAC leadership conference. A friend then heard that I got into speaking because of him, and actually said, you know, I manage him. Why don't I introduce you? So then I got to meet him and make him a bracelet as well. And he actually recently wrote a book called The Miracles in You, where he talks about every time you set an intention, it's a miracle waiting to happen. And so you never know, just by being curious and trying new things, what could be on the other side of that. There's a lot going on here. You know, this university, it's a lot of buildings, but really at the heart of it, it's the people. And this is just a few of the faculty and staff members that have made a massive difference in my life. I would not be standing here without them. And I implore you to get to know them, spend time with them, ask them for advice. I'll give you one example. Mark Wilson, a career counselor. I went to med school, dropped out, and then came back to Ohio State for a 5th year, and I started doing business classes. And he told me about an opportunity at McKinsey & Company, which I'd never even heard of the company. They only hired from Harvard, Ivy League schools, but because I knew him, he told me about it. I got there, I ended up at Harvard Business School, PepsiCo, Facebook, because of knowing someone. So I highly, highly implore you to get to know these amazing people that are there. Always be creating.
So you could spend your whole 4 years here on Instagram, on Netflix, and on video games, right? But you're gonna miss out on the greatest opportunity to do anything you wanna do. So I'll give you a little sampling. When I was a sophomore, I was a chem TA, and I created this program where I invited my students to write on an index card either one thing they connected with, they learned that week, or something that's going on in their personal life that maybe they didn't feel comfortable sharing with me. By the end of that semester, my supervisor came and said, Chris, you have the highest score we've ever seen. Like, did you just fill out those survey results yourself? And I was like, no, but by just connecting with the students, that made all the difference. And so there's always opportunities to do something different, to create something. When I was a junior, I created an 8-week program called the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Students, where there was an intro week, and then we did 1 habit a week. And then eventually, when I was on my 5th year back, I started an organization called Red Khaki because there was no student entrepreneurship club, and now that's the Business Builders Club. So look for opportunities where you can contribute, get involved. You can learn tennis by reading a book, or you can learn tennis by actually playing. Which one do you think is more effective, right? Get in the game. Always be conscious. So I probably experienced the biggest setback in my life 6 years ago. I just left my job working at Facebook directly with Mark. We called him Zuck, actually. And I thought I had it made. I had all this money in the bank. My ex-girlfriend and I, we were traveling around the world. Life was grand. Except I was disconnected. I was lost. I was just not happy. And something was missing. We ended up breaking up. And I ended up being recommended this personal growth retreat up in Napa. It's a week-long retreat. They take away your phone. There's no laptop. You're just there to go deep and do some inner work. And on the first day they were there, they had this framework that there's 4 aspects of myself, and I was like, whoa, I've been focusing all my life on the intellectual and the physical, and I completely neglected my emotional and spiritual. So it's easy to get wrapped up in your classwork, it's easy to get wrapped up in what job you're gonna have, but take care of yourself holistically as a person. This was on day 1 when they had us share what were the goals for being there, and a lot of these goals I just hadn't thought of for a really long time. If I distilled all that down, though, what it was at the retreat, we were having very meaningful conversations, and there was a lot of positivity there. And that became the basis of the MyIntent project. And I was searching for what do I think the world need more of, and that was my answer. So I moved to LA. I started hosting these gatherings on Sunday afternoons. We're here on a Sunday afternoon, where people would do yoga, they do some stretching, some breathing, some painting. We'd cook for each other. And we would do one other thing, which was we'd make bracelets for each other. And this is Sarah over here on the right, and I was like, you're always at the table. Like, you don't have to be here. You're volunteer. You're not getting paid to make bracelets for other people. But she said, you know what? The conversations that happen at this table are way better than anywhere in the house, because when you ask for someone's word, it's like what really matters, right? Instead of the superficial stuff. And so we just started making these. It was a fun little project. But what? If you really look, it looks like jewelry on the outside, but really what it is it tells you what's most important to you, right? If you have a watch, that tells you your time, and this tells you what to do with your time. So always be courageous. What is that? This is February of 2015. I'm at Soho House, which is a members-only club in West Hollywood, and I see Jay-Z in the corner. And I said, wow, maybe he would like a bracelet. Maybe I can be of service to him. And the other voice in my head said, you're going to get kicked out. What are you doing, right? But in that moment, I said, you know what? Instead of letting my fear rule me, I'm going to be courageous, and I'm going to take a chance. So I walked up, and I made him a bracelet with the word educate for his foundation, the Sean Carter Foundation. He loved it. And he said, hey, can you come and make these at my brunch the next weekend? And I said, let me check my schedule, but I'm pretty sure I can fit you in. So I got 9 of my friends together, ordered some T-shirts, and we were there. We made 300 bracelets, including some for, Rihanna chose the word faith, Beyonce chose the word surrender. And then afterwards, I thought, okay, that was cool, but I still need to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. I came here, I was pre-med, then business. I'm not going to be making bracelets the rest of my life. So I went to Bali, and I was doing some meditating, just trying to figure out what was next. I was like, maybe I'll go work on clean water, maybe I'll go work on some other cause. And on the last night when I was there, I opened up Instagram, and I couldn't believe what I saw. I saw somebody photoshopped it, but there was Kanye wearing his bracelet with the word beautify. And so in that moment, I was like, I think that's a sign that this project is more than what it's just arts and crafts. There's something more to it. Lastly, always be community. So this is not going to be an easy journey if you push yourself. There's going to be some ups and downs. As part of the MyIntent process, we think there's 3 pieces to it, and you've just completed the first piece, which is discovery. It's finding your own word. But there's also the second part, which is activating it. So activating it means when you share it, you're reinforcing to yourself what you want, and also other people, when they hear it, they can help you fulfill what you want, right? That's the second part. And the third part I want to challenge you with is if you ask other people, if you're in service and ask them for their word, you'll be helping them, and you'll be learning a lot about what they're going through and a lot of wisdom that could be there. So I want to challenge you just to take a moment and think about who are 3 people that you want to find their word. Maybe it could be your roommate, maybe it could be a future classmate, a faculty member, a staff, your parents, your friends from high school. But just think about that for a second. And I'm going to give you one other tool. There's a lot of folks that are anxious these days, taking antidepressants, medications. Movement is great, breathing is great. Singing is also another really powerful tool. So I'm going to invite you to experience a little something, okay? So if you guys want to stand up one more time, I'm going to try this. Can you help click? It's this button right here. Okay, let's see if this is on. You guys ready? All right, we're gonna warm up our voices a little bit, right? We're just gonna go. Can you all do that? Wow. Breathe. Sometimes in our lives, we all have hate, we all have sorrow. If we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, no one can tell those of your needs that you won't let show. We have one. We have one more chorus. All right, we're gonna do this. We have one more left. I don't want to. All right, ready? Really, sing it. You mean if you want to put your arms around the next person, do that. Do a little swaying. We're gonna get. Ready? Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Woo! And I'll tell you, the road between here and there, there's going to be a lot of bumps, and you might go off a cliff a little bit. You might scrape your knees and whatnot, but embrace those. Just remember that. If there's one thing I can leave you with is those things are there to teach you something and to make you stronger. And you might find your purpose through that. And I'm going to leave you with one last chorus from one of my favorite songs. Do you guys know this one? All right, we'll do it together then. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you've had the time of your life. Thank you.
Okay, I'm not sure what you thought was going to happen today at the launch, but that was pretty special. That was pretty cool. So, my word is impact. It turns out when Chris stopped by the Honors House a few weeks ago, and some of our folks had been around, they knew him, and I didn't know anything about this. And he said, hey, you want me to make you a bracelet? And I was like, okay. And so when he says, what's your word? And the first thing that sprung to mind was impact. That over the course of my life, I've always wanted to do things that have impact. Sometimes it's local impact, family, friends, things. Sometimes it's big impact. Helping run the undergraduate physics department, building a big laser in physics. Sometimes it's even bigger, and helping run honors and scholars and be a part of a great program like this. But impact has driven me. And then Chris had also mentioned that was his first word, was impact. So this is a great tangible reminder, right, about things. You be that word, remember that thing. You'll be getting other things along the way. We have pins, there's our H&S logo, the ampersand, t-shirts, and so on. But these are little clues, right? They're things that can trigger in you to remember, to think about these kinds of things. These are more than just words, right? Those are reminders to then do something, to call to action. That was fantastic. That was just absolutely amazing. So now what we want to do is, it's a great segue right into talking about our goals. You've heard of these things, the goals, the global awareness, original inquiry, academic enrichment, leadership development, and service engagement. Right? So it's not just a fancy acronym, although it's a pretty darn good acronym. But each one of those things, right, means something. And we use that again as sort of tangible signs, compass headings, guiding beacons, those sorts of things to help you along the way, as you're leaning on each other and on faculty and on advisors and other staff, right, that you go along this journey and seizing those opportunities, right, that there's a lot of amazing things that you'll go through. And just remember that when you think about your word. And your words will change, right? You're starting out with a word now, and you keep track of how those words change as you embark on who you are and who you want to be. Right? It's an amazing journey. All right, so I think what we want to do now is let's actually hear from students. You've heard enough from me. So MCs, so Camilla and Sean, let's get some chairs out here. We're actually going to hear from some students. So you can clap for them coming back out. They're
carrying a chair.
Okay. So we're going to go through, it'll be a little bit of a spelling example, because we're going to go through the goals one by one and have students talk about their experiences and realization of those goals as we go along. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Lynn. Let's start with G, global awareness. So global awareness is all about developing a deeper appreciation for the diversity of people, ideas, and opinions. A lot of students do this by studying abroad, and I actually interned abroad this past summer in Madrid with a company called AMC Networks. They produce shows like Breaking Bad and The Walking Dead. It was very cool. But let's hear from third-year honor student Mackenzie Scott on how she made her global awareness goals a reality.
Hi, I'm Kenzie, and to me, global awareness means immersing yourself in the unfamiliar. As all of you are beginning your college journeys, I'm sure there's a lot that feels unfamiliar to you right now, and I'm sure a lot of that might even feel scary. But unfamiliar does not mean scary. Without that sense of unfamiliarity, we would never have the courage to reach beyond our comfort zones. And that's a pretty big part of our experience here at Ohio State that we want everybody to get themselves to. So that's why I've really made it a goal of mine to embrace the unfamiliar, embrace the unexpected. And one of the best ways to do that is to study abroad. So last year I had the opportunity to study abroad for a month in New Zealand. We studied sustainable development, and it was incredible. I got to bungee jump. We walked up the world's steepest street. We saw incredible views, incredible wildlife. But my biggest takeaway from that trip was seeing firsthand how no one group of people has the right answer, and that we really cannot solve big, scary, complex problems such as sustainable development without working with and relying on people who are different from us. It was just amazing to see all of the intercultural cooperation and learning that was taking place among New Zealand's many diverse cultures and histories and ideas and people when they were tackling issues such as renewable resource management, invasive species removal. There's definitely a lot of progress still to be made, but overall I just really got to experience how we will never get to the solution of these problems by isolating ourselves in the communities and with the ideas that we are familiar with. We must venture out and get to know and become comfortable with that which is not familiar to us. As they've said, this is the only time that the entire Honors and Scholars class of 2022 is all going to be together. But you are all going to need to rely on and learn from each other during your time here and well beyond. And that involves engaging with each other, embracing each other's differences, and embracing those as strengths. And I know that doesn't really come easy for a lot of us, but there are so many really great ways to get involved with that here at Ohio State. Definitely studying abroad. There are also plenty of student organizations dedicated to bringing different communities and identities together. There are community dialogues, a few of which I've participated in. Those are really eye-opening because you really hear about perspectives and experiences that you had never previously considered or even had to think about. And something just as simple as reaching out to people on your floor, in your classes, even if you don't think you have anything in common with them. Just put yourself out there, introduce yourself. It may feel uncomfortable, but it will become more comfortable the longer you engage with that. And like I said, you'll be surprised at what you have in common with them. So that's something I really want to challenge you all to do, to really get to know one another, make everybody feel welcomed. That's really what global awareness is about, just making everybody in our world feel welcome and included and feeling like they can contribute, especially in a place like this amazing university. So I really want to challenge you all to do that. There's really no better time to begin exploring the world and the people and the ideas around you than right now. So thank you all so much for your time. I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you for listening to me, and go Bucks! Woo.
Thank you very much, Kenzie. Now we're going to move on to O, original inquiry. Original inquiry is all about the development of knowledge. So we're going to hear from one student and her pursuit of knowledge in original inquiry. Please welcome Kara Gilson.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. My name is Kara. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and I'm a Mount Scholar. Where are my Mounties out there? Yes, awesome. Thank you so much. I hope you're surviving launch week. I know I was exhausted at this time, and I'm sure you all are, so it's so good to have all of you here. Really quickly, I just want to get a show of hands. How many of you feel like you could stand up right now and tell me exactly what original inquiry is? Oh, good. Okay, I don't feel so bad. Because when I was in your seat 3 years ago, I really struggled. I actually paid specific attention to this part because I thought I'm a terrible honors or scholar student if I don't know. And I was even struggling when I wrote that essay to figure out what goals is to me. But what I didn't realize when I got to OSU, luckily, is that I was already an original inquirer, because it's more than two big words that you have to figure out. It's an identity, and it's a way that you encounter the world. And I first figured this out officially, I would say, when I was in my spring semester course of US and International Healthcare, my freshman year. And I was in my class with my professor, Dr. Wallace, who also happened to be the director of the undergraduate research office. And she took a few minutes at the end of one of our classes to share why she believes research is such an important part of the undergraduate experience. And while some kids in my class sort of zoned out, thinking this is just another professor sharing her passion, because she has that opportunity to, it was actually a wake-up call for me. Because she simply yet profoundly stated, I want you all to understand, research is simply asking a question and being determined and curious to find the answer. And that moment made me realize that maybe I could do research too, whatever that big, scary word was. And it also made me think back to my junior year in high school when I was in a global studies course, and we spent 3 weeks learning about human trafficking, understanding the atrocities and the statistics associated, and I was baffled. And I remember thinking and actually asking at the end of the 3 weeks, I said, why is it still happening? How do we end this awful thing? And my teacher at the time said, Kara, that's simple. I thought, oh, good, okay, give me the answer. She said, well, all you have to do is end the demand and you won't have it anymore. So as I was sitting in my spring semester class with Dr. Wallace thinking, maybe I could do this, I have so many questions, I realized that there were a lot to address. And so as everyone filed out of the classroom, I sat there thinking, okay, I'll just address her, I'll ask her really quickly, she'll say no and we'll be fine. And I waited until I was the last one and I said, Dr. Wallace, I really appreciate you bringing it up because I didn't think I could do research until you shared that simplicity. But I have some outside-the-box questions, and I was wondering if there's any possibility of researching why human trafficking exists, what the populations that we're working with look like, and how we can help them. And she said, Kara, that is not a normal question. You're right. And I thought, okay, well, there's the answer I was thinking of. And then she said, but you're at OSU. Your opportunities are endless. We'll figure it out. So 3 days later, in my inbox, I found an email that was connecting me with another professor in the College of Social Work. And 2 days later, I walked up to the second floor of Stillman Hall. I put out my hand to that professor, and I said, hi, I'm Kara. I'm a first-year student, and I've never done research before. A great start, I know, always. And then I said, I have a lot of questions, and I was hoping we could address those together. Now, I'm not going to make this sound like a fairy tale story. It took a few months to sit down with different experts and professors and figure out how we could even start answering those questions. But I will say that after finding Dr. Michelle Amaya, another professor in the College of Social Work, who was willing to sit with me and say, Kara, those are great questions. I have none of the answers. Let's figure it out together. That changed the next 2 years of my life because I was able to do different literature reviews and workshop proposals and presentations based on what we were figuring out with human trafficking. And we have not answered all of the questions. We have not ended the demand yet, but we're on our way. And so what I want you all to know is that even though that's one very formal example of original inquiry, there are so many ways that we all are encountering what it means to ask questions. And the real key is not to be a researcher or not to have the perfect question or find the perfect answer, but it's rather to wake up every day, and I challenge you to do this with me, and say, if I don't ask, I am not going to know. If I don't push past those boundaries, I'll never know what's beyond them. And if I don't take these healthy challenges, I might not be the person I was meant to be. So keep asking questions. It's an honor to be a fellow original inquirer with you, and I look forward to seeing you around and asking those questions with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Kara. That's an awesome story, right? And this idea of asking questions, right? That is what research, original inquiry is all about. Keep asking those questions, pushing back the frontiers, right, of knowledge and understanding. Awesome. Okay, well now we're in the middle of the word. We're at the A, all right? So academic enrichment. And we think about that as the classroom stuff. Right? And you're going to take a lot of classes. You're going to learn a lot of stuff in those classrooms. Right? But you got to take all that material and you're going to start weaving it together into a story that makes you who you want to be. Right? And so that academic journey is really important. Right? And in many ways, it's at the core of everything. It's in the middle of the word goals, right? And so think about this as like a core foundation with the academics. So remember, you don't do well in your academics, you ain't getting a degree, and you're not getting out of here, right? So there's something that you're pushing for that's very fundamental to what this institution is about. And beyond just here is becoming that lifelong learner, right? How you become passionate about something and passionate about learning about that, continuing to ask questions well beyond your time here at Ohio State and seeking those answers, right? I can think of no better student to kind of give us a handle on this than Agachukwu Obiagwu, who's going to tell us a little bit about her academic journey.
Thank you, Lynn. I got a 62% D on one of the very first exams I took here at Ohio State. And this is my first time ever speaking in a public setting or even large crowd like this. And honestly, when I was asked to come and talk about academic enrichment, I thought, why in the world would they want a girl who had a 2.7 GPA come and talk about academic enrichment? Until I realized that I was here, sitting in front of you for a reason. I remember 2 years ago, during the 2016 Honors and Scholars Launch event, sitting in the very seats you're sitting in today. And I was a hard worker in high school. I graduated at the top of my class, and I figured when I got to Ohio State that it wasn't going to be much different. I would continue working hard, and Launch motivated me to keep excelling. But despite that, I was never had a GPA below a 4.0 my entire life. I fell short my freshman year during the second semester. There were 3 mistakes that ultimately resulted in my 2.76 GPA. And that was lack of sleep, over-involved, and mismanaged stress. Now, I'm sure you've all heard that classes will be tough, but I'll remind you, classes will be tough. It's real. But when you leverage the resources that Ohio State has to offer, and you take advantage of that, it will definitely go a long way. And I also know that some of you are aware that the career fair is coming up in a few weeks. And that's another exciting thing about Ohio State, is the opportunity to advance your career. And being that you're one of the best of the best that Ohio State has to offer, I have no doubt that you will do great things. So I encourage you, when it comes to the recruiting process, to find someone to help guide you along the way. For me, and by the end of my freshman year, I had 2 offers between 2 of the world's largest accounting firms. And while that was all exciting and great, and I was eager about it, I almost lost the opportunity because of my academic performance at the time. By the time I started my sophomore year, I realized that I had to work harder. I had to do more. So I paused, I reevaluated, and I realized that no matter how involved I was, the startup company I was running, e-board positions, volunteer work, research, or whatever you might get involved with, that at the end of the day, having strong academic performance is the foundation of success as a college student and as a student in general. So when I realized this, I reached out to mentors to help guide me on the right path. And I built a recovery school schedule that still aligned with my course plan, but helped recover my GPA. So basically, just this past spring semester, it was a huge struggle, spending countless hours in the library trying to improve my academic performance. But it was worth it, because during that most challenging semester, just this past spring, when I was taking 17.5 credit hours while working 40+ hours a week with 3 jobs, running my startup company, an internship, and an on-campus job, I managed to turn my previous semester 2.76 GPA into a 3.76 GPA the following semester. Thank you. And I actually just came back from New York, where I spent my entire summer there participating in the internship I actually almost lost. So I say this all to say that with the help of mentors, tutors, and the resources Ohio State has to offer here, I got through it, and you can too. This is not an easy journey, and if it was easy, there would be not just the 2,500 of you here today, but every student would be an honors and scholars student. But you are in these seats because you have proven that you're capable of overcoming challenges and not only meeting expectations, but exceeding expectations. So keep it up. And realize that learning is not just for getting good grades. It helps with personal and professional growth. And it didn't end when you graduate high school. It won't end when you graduate here at Ohio State. It's a lifelong journey. This journey will be filled with distractions, challenges, and some failures. But it's a rewarding journey when done right. So don't give up, even if you spend all night studying in the library for an exam and you still end up not doing as well as you hoped you would. Keep trying, because there's always a way. Here at Ohio State, you will make mistakes, and you will learn important life lessons with hard work, dedication, and perseverance. That will lead you to achieve great things here, in and out of the classroom. So along the way, remember, a mistake is only a mistake if you've never learned from it. So be ready, be eager, and don't be a know-it-all, be a learn-it-all. Harness your go-getter spirit. And as my favorite saying goes by Milton Berle, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. My name is Agachukwu Obiagu. I'm a business scholar. Thank you for listening, and best of luck. Go Bucks.
Wait a minute. So, no, I'm not going to let you go yet. So I know this is not in the script.
Yeah.
This is not in the script, but I just want to say, you know, it takes a lot of courage just to come up here, because the view that we have of looking at 2,500 of you out there, you know, and to come and give a speech and present something, let alone to admit, as a student who's never gotten anything other than great grades and straight A's and all that, and you guys are them, all right, to be able to say, man, it didn't quite work out. Right? And she's telling that, she's bearing her soul to 2,500 of you, and then showing that process that she went through. And so I just think that's awesome to have the courage to come up and do that. We really appreciate it. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Agachukwu. All right, next we have leadership development. This is all about how to identify strengths to become an effective and ethical leader. There are so many ways to get involved here at Ohio State, and a lot of you guys were involved in organizations in high school, and Ohio State is a great school to help you develop as a leader. So to talk more about one example of leadership development, I'm excited to introduce a wonderful person and true leader on campus, Olivia Britt.
All right, hi everybody. I'm going to start out with a quick survey, and trust me, you guys are going to get used to seeing these here at Ohio State. So raise your hand if you consider yourself to be an extrovert. All right, hands down. Raise your hand if you think you're more of an introvert. Okay, and I'm guessing all of you out there who didn't raise your hands, you guys consider yourselves somewhere in between, maybe? Okay, well, no matter what you chose, I have great news for you. Leadership is for you. That's right, leadership is not just reserved for that outgoing extrovert who can talk to a wall and be happy. Actually, it's a quality that we can all exemplify. And it just looks a little different for each one of us. So let me give you an example. A little background on me. I consider myself in between the two extremes. Like, I really like being social and talking to people, but I also need that me time, too, every now and then. Another little tidbit about me, I am from Taylor Tower. So where are my Tay-Tow people at? Woo! Awesome. So being an owl and an office assistant in Taylor Tower introduced me to this new cool thing called residence life. And soon enough, I found myself applying to be a resident advisor. So you in residence halls might recognize the term RA as someone who serves as kind of like your parent off at college. No, we don't check and make sure you're going to class on time and turning your homework in and everything, but we have been known to bust a few parties every now and then. In all seriousness, though, the role of an RA is to build relationships on the floor. So this gave me the exact role that I needed as a leader. I was able to be social with all of my residents at big events and programs, but I could also take a step back and let them take the initiative and make friends themselves on the floor. So that was a big weight lifted off of my shoulders in the stressful times in the semester. And it also meant that I didn't have to be on all the time, which was a big relief for me. Another key component of this role is leading by example and practicing what you preach. So if I was over here taking care of all of my residents all the time, I had to make sure that I was doing the same for myself. So that was a great reminder to get that me time in when I needed to. So let's take a step back real quick. You guys are probably sitting there thinking, all right, that's great, Olivia. You got this job that really suits your leadership style. But that's just not me. That's all right, because you have come to the right place. Honors and Scholars and Ohio State as a whole have a plethora of opportunities for you to find your niche, whether that's as a leader in your religious community, on a sports team, in a student organization, maybe on a service trip with Buckeye Serve, any and all of those. I'm sure you'll find one that really suits your personality. Let me leave you with one last piece of advice, though. Try it. That's it. Try it. I would not be sitting in front of you today if I did not trust my gut and try something new and interesting like Residence Life. I promise if you do, you'll find the leader that you're meant to be. Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, Olivia. So now we are going to move on to S, service engagement. Service engagement is where we ask you to utilize your personal talents to improve the human condition. Now, I know that most of you have probably had the opportunity to do this in high school or even before by volunteering. You might have even studied abroad before. But at Ohio State, you're going to have hundreds, if not thousands, of opportunities to do the exact same thing in the Columbus community and in your global community. So I'd like to welcome to the stage one student, one of many Honors and Scholars students who is particularly involved in service, Jonathan Wright.
Thank you. That was very generous. I like the picture they picked. That's my sister. She's great. So, my name's John. I'm a fourth year in the Biological Sciences Scholars. Oh, that's sad. And so I'm going to talk about service. So, what I learned in Ghana is that they don't refrigerate their eggs. I also learned that the way Americans say water bottle, it's a little weird. And baby goats are ridiculously cute. I learned this and so much more when I went abroad to Ghana for those 2 weeks last summer. I got to spend those 2 weeks working every single day with 40 village orphans in the Senya Barracu region. They were beautiful souls and very compassionate. I spent all my time with them, and they taught me more than I could possibly teach them. I got to go to their school, actually, and see what their conditions were like. And what was interesting is that in Ghana, if the teacher doesn't show up, there is no substitute. So I got to teach. I taught science, which is my passion. I connected with these kids about igneous rocks, and I also got to connect about convection currents. I was being a resource for them. I was helping them learn something, and it really cemented the idea for me that service is not about racking up hours. It's about using your talents, your expertise, and your skills to make sustainable impacts into these communities. Service helps you learn so much about who you are, and also helps you become an advocate for who you are. You get to learn about these different groups so you can then go tell other people about it. Buckeye Serve gave me the great opportunity to have these transformational experiences both abroad in Ghana as well as domestically on a couple of trips in the States. It's a great way to get involved, and there's also countless other student organizations just outside of those doors for the Involvement Fair, waiting to grab your attention so you can find a community that you're really invested in. Here at Ohio State, there's no better time or place than to be in college and to give back to the community. Columbus needs your help, and you are the perfect people to go out and tell them what's going on and to really show them how much you care. Finding your passions through service really helps you figure out who you are, as well as giving back to the community. Whether a person has everything they want or they have nothing at all, they will always cherish the time that you give. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, John.
All right, so we finished the spelling part, and we went through the goals, so I'll see you guys in a few minutes. One of the coolest parts of my job is getting to know students. Like, I knew a few of these students beforehand, but getting to know them and getting to see their stories and hear the different stories that they come through. Doing orientation, where we get to learn about you guys, reading the applications, seeing the amazing things that you have done and that you're going to do. And so meeting new people and learning the stories of all you really is one of the most rewarding things of my job. You know, I live out in London, Ohio, out in the country, and I know I think we have 6 honors and scholars students from the London area. Can I hear something from them? Okay, Emily, I know where are you, Emily? You're right up there. That's right, I saw you earlier. Emily Davis, who's in the Health Sciences Scholars, she actually helps watch our, or she did, now she's in college and moved away, but she used to help watch our goats and our chickens and our ponies and things like that. So it's amazing that some people that I know as they embark on this journey, and some of you that I don't know, but this is going to be a great journey. So now with all that you've learned now, the resources and a lot of the really cool things we've talked about, we're going to turn it now a little bit more serious, and we're going to have a little bit more formal induction ceremony. And to help lead us in that is my boss, who is Dr. Beth Hume. She's the Vice Provost for Undergraduate Studies and the Dean of Undergraduate Education and a Professor of Linguistics. She started here at Ohio State, I think back in '91, if I remember right. She's nodding, so I'm not too far off. And went up through linguistics. She was the chair of linguistics. Then she went away. She went to New Zealand. She's at the University of Canterbury in Christchurch and did a lot of amazing work there. And now she's back home as the Dean of Undergraduate Education. She's going to lead us in the induction. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Beth Hume.
Okay. Thanks, Lynn. It's really great to be part of the 6th, I believe, Honors and Scholars launch. So welcome. Welcome to all of you. And we just want to congratulate you on being part of the Honors and Scholars program. We are very proud of our program and all the accomplishments, and we really look forward to the contributions that you're going to make to our program and to the university. So, the more formal part, I have been asked to lead you in the Honors and Scholars Pledge. So, at this time, I'm going to ask all of you to take out your pledge card and pin, and then stand. Okay, now the pledge is going to be projected up here on the screen as well. In fact, it is projected up here. So I want you to repeat after me, please. As an active member of the Honors and Scholars community, I pledge to actualize the goals. I will develop a deeper appreciation for the diversity of people, ideas, and opinions. I will develop a deeper appreciation for the diversity of people, ideas, and opinions. Contribute to the creation and development of knowledge. Pursue academic excellence with integrity and recognize learning as a lifelong endeavor. Pursue academic excellence with integrity and recognize learning as a lifelong endeavor. Identify strengths to become an effective and ethical leader. And to utilize personal talents to improve the human condition. Congratulations. Now that you've taken the pledge, take out your pin and put your pin on. So this pin marks the beginning of your academic journey at Ohio State, and we hope that this pin is part of your class of 2022 graduation regalia. Congratulations, everyone, and good luck.
Thank you.
All right, I got it. No, hold on. Everybody please stay standing. Hey, come on now, come on. All right, stay standing. Thank you to Dr. Beth Hume for helping us lead the pledge. Can we please give her a round of applause? Good.
And thank you to Dr. Vanwoerkom and all of our featured students. Can we please also give them a round of applause?
Now we ask the Honors and Scholars staff, Dr. Vanwoerkom, our alumnus Chris Pan, and Dr. Hume to come join us on the stage so we can end this event in style.
So to conclude the event today, we are going to be participating in one of Ohio State's most time-honored traditions, and my personal favorite Ohio State tradition, the singing of Carmen, Ohio. So Camilla and I are slightly tone deaf, so we are going to welcome to the stage one of Ohio State's premier a cappella groups, Scarlet Fever.
Hello? Oh, it's just coming.
Now everyone, please link arms, and we encourage you to join in singing.
Oh, this is, yeah, link arms this way. Oh, good thing.
I get goosebumps. 6 years.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out to the Honors and Scholars Launch.
That concludes our event today. Please head out onto the Involvement Fair, and remember to reach your goals.
Woo!